And Merry Christmas, everyone. Jamie Hughes here with James Sandlin. And James, can you believe, brother, that it's our final sports talk of the year?
Yeah, 2023 flew by, man. What a sports year it was.
You are definitely understating that. And I don't know where to begin. We got so many different things. I started making notes last night of all the stuff that we covered this year. And we could talk for 3 hours probably and not get all of it. But let's start off by saying Merry Christmas to everybody and thanking everybody for tuning in this year.
Yeah,
And been a fun year, brother.
man, it's been a ball what it's been. A lot of miles on the road, a lot of new faces. It started with me and you in a folding table and on the end zone of a football field, and thanks to Randy Thompson and some things going on, we've made it inside a radio station now with 6 radio stations. And schedule keeps getting busier and busier, and now it seems like the last couple of weeks we've been trying to just catch ourselves, basically like we're doing tonight, just trying to get each other on the same internet.
Yeah, man. And again, we've grown, with the addition. And I've got 10 or 12 things I want to touch on. But one of the things we can go ahead and say right now with the new fellas that's come on board with us, we said we was going to bring a couple on board, but I don't think neither one of us imagined that we'd be bringing 6 or 7 of them on. And that's allowed us to do a lot more this year, James.
Well, it's allowed for us to cover a lot more grade school ball games, high school games, and you do the college, and once again Scott Cornett and President Stepp and Coach Mills and them allowed us to come over and cover Eagle Madness on the kickoff of basketball season. So thanks to them for allowing us to get over there and cover that for the second year in a row. And man, we just seem like every time we go, we seem like we get into more doors.
Of course, we can talk about a lot of firsts for us. For the first time, we actually did a full volleyball season. And shout out to Shay Cornett and Knott County Central for being there and helping us, Justin and everybody for helping us get through this. And it's fun time all the way up to that district matchup that you and I did over there in Whitesburg. We'll never forget the response that we got from that, and fun time there.
Yeah, it was a fun time. Shay Cornett and Justin and Bill Grigsby and Coach Justice even allowed us in. So they opened the doors for us to get volleyball started. I guess we actually did our first one 2 years ago. Well, I say 2 years ago. We're in year number 2. But last year we had to drive to Old Allen Central and do a volleyball game, and it was funny. Harold Mullins was there, and me and you was talking about not knowing anything with volleyball, and Harold started laughing. He said, "If it wasn't for Shay, boys, I wouldn't either." And and then next thing you know, we did 7 or 8, 9 volleyball games this year, along with our first soccer games. Got to cover the first ever soccer game in Hyman for Knott County Central, and you did the first wrestling match for Knott County Central last year. You're right; it's been a lot of firsts with a lot of enjoyable times.
And James, I think we started realizing early this year what this little thing means to the students. But that soccer game, they were determined that we would be there. And even as we were
Yeah,
filming, they would look over to you and Benny Ray and say, "Have you got me on there?" And I'll never
yeah,
forget that, man. That shows what this means to the student athletes.
yeah. We had a good time with soccer. Got to do it. What the good part about it was is that where they played back to back, we got a chance to interview the boys while the girls played, and interviewed the boys while the girls played, and the girls while the boys played. And then got a chance to interview both coaches, and got to sit down and talk with them a few minutes. Super nice people. Find out, you know, one's from Florida, one's from Pennsylvania, and how they ended up in Knott County, and super good people. Hopefully that they'll stick around in Knott County for a while. And both of them won Coach of the Year this year for the fourth region. So a lot of good things happened this year in Hyman, man.
Well, and then from that, we ended up with 3 of the soccer players joining us. Of course,
Yeah.
started off with Hunter Combs filming for us. He filmed our football games for us. And then I had a volleyball game. Corey Livingood come up and said, if you ever need anybody else, I'd like to do that. And then Wyatt Bailey joined us shortly after that. I can't keep them off the air now. They're even on nights we didn't have a game scheduled. They said, can we go do the Emmalina game? And they're having a good time with it, James.
Well, and that's good. You know, that's what this whole thing was built for. It's what you started it for. I tell you, a lot of times I'm just glad you let me jump in the back of the truck when you drive by to get in and start joining you on some of this stuff. But I've had a ball. You know, a lot of funny stories along the way in the last year and a half. I've learned a lot. We've got a lot of, you know, you sit back and you see why the Drum and Harold and all those guys, Roger Fannin and Archie Everett, got started so many years ago, because once you get in it, it's kind of like a bug. It'll bite you, and you just keep wanting to do more and more of it. You kind of sometimes got to tell yourself no, because you got to have time to rest.
Yes, indeed. And we're still learning how to schedule and not spread ourselves too thin. That'll be my challenge for 24, is to make sure we're getting as many events as we can, but yet not spread me and you and a couple of us so thin. Matt Witt's tuning in, James. Matt, another one of our good helpers, got engaged this weekend down at Dollywood.
He did, didn't he?
So congratulations to the Whitster. And
I seen the Witt doing a little Ric Flair, you know, after he got engaged. He become a limousine riding, jet flying engaged man.
What's that? Wallen, that country music singer Wallen. That's one of Matt's favorite. And I think he kind of even tried to take a page out of his book when he proposed to that girl down there.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Witt did grow the mullet there for a while.
He did.
Wallen did. I don't know if he can sing like Morgan Wallen, but I don't really know if I consider that singing what that man does.
But he's popular. I know that. And
he's popular. You're right.
But Matt's a good guy, man. I think the world of him, and wish him nothing but the best. And he's getting ready to be introduced to a new level of basketball once Christmas break finishes up. He'll be helping me do 90%, I would imagine, of the Alice Lloyd games. And we're looking forward to those games, man. Got a lot of big games, James, not just with Alice Lloyd, but with our high school and even to our grade school. We got a lot of big games coming up here after this Christmas break.
Yeah, it's going to get fun. The 14th region, we've got to watch a lot of ball games. Got to watch a lot of the region teams, boys and girls this year, and it's going to be a fun February all the way around. You know, I think that there's some sleeper teams out there. There's some that's better than I thought they was going to be at the beginning of the season than they are now. There's some that's not as good as I thought they once was going to be.
And would you agree, some that are not yet? We've still got some teams that I think will improve and be a better team come tournament time.
Oh, absolutely. I think you've always got that surprise team that's going to make a run in February or March. And that's another thing that makes it so fun, is that all of a sudden, you know, things start clicking in February, and before you know it, you as a team that was picked to finish 5th or 6th, now you're in the running for the region championship.
And James, we got so much that I want to talk about. Of course, we debuted the Alice Lloyd College Top 10, and that thing is took off like I don't know what. It's getting shares on top of shares. And then one of us, not me, him, came up with this brilliant idea of letting the people pick the player of the week. And James, we've never done anything on Hometown Sports that has got as much attention as that has, man. And we'll talk more about that after the break too. And we got a lot to cover here, but we better get us a commercial break. How about that?
Absolutely, brother.
So again, big thank you too, by the way, to all of our sponsors. This has been, a couple sponsors, 3 sponsors, 4 last year, and now we've got so many that we had to make sure we get them all in. And you'll see about 4 of them, and we'll be back after this. A couple words from our sponsors.
What keeps you going? Your love for the game? Your teammates? A victory? At ARH Orthopedics, our goal is to keep you pain-free so your body can keep going. There's no time for discomfort in your joints or ligaments caused by an injury. ARH Orthopedic providers specialize in treatment plans, from non-surgical and surgical options, so your care is entirely centered around you. Visit arh.org/ortho to find an orthopedic provider near you. ARH, more for Appalachia.
For over 100 years, the Bank of Hyman has been committed to serving our community and serving the future of our families, homes, and businesses. With our new convenient online banking, viewing your account balance and history, transferring money, and paying bills has never been easier or more secure. And with the construction of our new headquarters, we've renewed our promise to Hyman to stand by our customers even in troubling economic times, because we're not just your bank, we're your neighbors. That's the Bank of Hyman. Log on to www.bankofhyman.com or give us a call at 606-785-3158.
Addiction is a disorder. We treat and we manage addiction like any other disorder. The issue touched me when I start seeing more and more young families fighting addiction, start having babies born with an addiction issue. When we have a great outcome, when we see that person coming back on their feet, working and producing and providing for their families. That's the best outcome. It makes you feel that you're doing something right.
Nestled in the mountains of Appalachia, along the Purpose Road, is a hidden gem, Alice Lloyd College. For 100 years, ALC has been providing opportunities.
Opportunity to learn from the best.
Opportunity to work for my education.
Opportunity to serve my community.
Opportunity to become a leader.
Opportunity to find my life's purpose.
Apply now to find your purpose at Alice Lloyd College.
And I sure do want to thank Alice Lloyd College, Miss Jennifer Hall, and those guys. They've been with us from the get-go, and just good sponsor of ours. And special thanks to them. Special thanks to the ARH folks, Miss Leanne Campbell, and everybody has come on board recently, and we appreciate them. The Bank of Hyman is really good sponsors for us, and we appreciate them. And then just we're going to try to name them all as we go through. Of course, Frontier Behavioral Health, James. They've been probably our biggest sponsor all season long, and we sure appreciate them.
Absolutely. And you got Few Country Leather over there with Steve, and man, a lot of good people has been behind us since the start, believing what we're doing. And
I actually had Steve help me with my Santa Claus list, James, and
that's what I'm talking about.
He actually brought them to me, and I had a chance to see him just for a moment there the other day, and we do appreciate him and all of our good sponsors again. Hey, James, you had the idea, as I said, for us to do a player of the week for the boys and a player of the week for the girls, and we do a poll every week, but nobody could have imagined that this would have been as popular, James, as what it's been, brother.
No, I never imagined. I was just trying to figure out a way to get some people a little bit more notoriety, for people to get to know some of the names around the 14th region. Everybody, if you're from Perry County, everybody knows the players on Perry Central and Buckhorn, and vice versa. If you're from Knott County, everybody knows who Coach Casey Huff's boys are and Coach Megan Huff's girls, and vice versa. In Letcher County, you've got Jenkins and Letcher Central. And in Knott, you got JVS, Cordy. Everybody knows the team. It really hit me when me and you got lucky, and Josh Cornett, CBS Cable, called and said, "Hey, we're going to do a 14th region preview. Like you guys come over and talk." And the more I thought about it, we know these names because me and you cover them all year. But a lot of people were like, who was the Brandenburg at Powell County? Well, if when he has a good week, if we can put him out there, people are like, oh man, he scored 27 points against Owsley County, or like this past weekend, Kaiser Sloan scored 31 points and 9 rebounds. It just gives a chance for people across our viewing area to get to know some of these boys, on the boys and girls from different teams, and who's standing out, who's having good years.
And James, of course, trying to get one of those pulled up here so we can show the folks exactly what we're talking about. I think there it is, actually. This week, for example, Pike Central's Hannah May had 19 points. And you see there, Hannah has gotten 4% of the votes. East Ridge, Olivia Stanley. That's a name we wouldn't have heard over here, James, too often. Well, she's leading this week's poll. And it's brought a lot of people to our page that wouldn't have been there, brother.
Well, what's crazy is the first one we did, when me and you realized this was a good hit and people like what we was doing. I think combined we had almost, 6,000-7,000 votes combined between the boys and girls. I mean, you think about it, that's kind of crazy to know there's 6,000 or 7,000 people votes, and you can just vote once. So this ain't like the same person hitting the same.
That's right.
Voting for the same player, 5 or 6. So at least 5,000 or 6,000 people had to go to those polls and actually cast their vote for who they thought had the best performance for the week.
Well, and as you can see there on the bottom of the screen, guys, this week we've had 1,244 votes in the girls. And James, I'm even more impressed. It's been shared 119 times. So that's not bad at all, brother. And I'm excited to do that.
It's not bad. But I'll tell you what, and we've run into it this week. But so I'm going to explain how this thing goes. Every Monday morning, me or you get on KHSAA. We go through every school in their coverage area. The coaches or the athletic director, I'm not sure who puts the stats in. That's the only thing we go by. So if a coach or an athletic director or a school hasn't put the stats in for the previous week, they can't be selected. And that's just because it's me and you only cover certain people, and that's the only fair way to do it is actually go over what the KHSAA stats have. We're not making stats up. We're not showing favoritism to anybody. I pull up every school. If the stats have not been entered, I move on to the next one. So, a lot of people are like, well, you've not selected this school or this school. We've got certain schools that's not put a stat in all year. If they don't put a stat in all year, you're null and void. I can't select you. I won't select you. Even if you've got 50 points and 200 rebounds, if the official stat's not in there through KHSAA, I move on.
And then I had several parents this week start pointing out to me how the Kentucky High School Athletic Association posts where the players are in the top 50. And so I'm going to start showing a lot more of that stuff too, James. That's neat, man. Young lady over at Perry County, she's leading the state right now in field goal percentage. She was third going into the week, and after Perry Central's last 2 games, she's moved up to the #1 spot. And we're just looking for ways to promote these kids. This is a chance, though, for mamas and aunts and uncles and cousins to kind of support their favorite player. And it's a good deal here. Let's check out the boys. There's Evan Everso. Evan's got 21% of the votes. Kaiser's performance last week, and Kaiser's going to be on here 2 weeks in a row just because of his performances, guys. But he's got 18 points there. He's got 9% of the vote. Letcher Central's PD got 10% of the vote. Johnson Central's Austin Sloan had 32 points. He's got 24% of the votes. Breathitt County's Austin Spurry has 29%. The Microwave, Ronnie Salmons over at Floyd Central got 4. McGoffin County's Aiden Barnett has 3%. And there's 1,000, as you see there, 1,031 people have voted already. It has 80 shares. And James, you and I are going to make sure before we offer to do something we can't do, but we would like to give some kind of prize to the kids that get the most of these. We've done it now for 3 weeks, and we'd like to maybe present the kids with a substantial prize if they get the most of these. But we got to make sure that's within the boundaries of. Help me out, brother. Put that, yes. We don't want to do something that would get anybody in trouble. But we think that we can maybe give away a little stipend or maybe some kind of. We'll find some way to reward the kid or the kids that get the most of those top performances.
Yeah, it may do something at the end of the year. Take every performance throughout the high school season, list those 16 or 20 performances on the boys and girls, and let everybody out there that's viewing select who our winner is.
That'd be a neat thing to do. We're kind of going to let some things out of the bag tonight, too, guys, for those of you that are tuning in. In addition to our Hometown Sports Corner All-Star Weekend, this year we're going to have an awards banquet. And so maybe we can bring in the ones that get the most of these and give them at least an award during that awards banquet. During the banquet, we're going to represent our football players of the year, or softball players of the year. We're going to bring all of them in, and that'll probably take place the weekend after the boys' state tournament. But we will, we're going to do our version of that this year, James, and that's the first time anybody's heard that spoke. But we're looking forward to doing that for the first time coming up the week after the state tournament.
Yeah, it's look for a big weekend, and that's a fun weekend. I mean, you've done it. Last year was my first one. It's a fun weekend. Get a big crowd on the campus of Alice Lloyd College, and we get to meet a lot of the young athletes that we've covered year round and get to actually have a conversation with them and get to put a face with them. So it's a fun weekend, and it's just another step how we can recognize the kids in the 14th region.
And James, of course, there's our buddy Kenny Mosley tuning in. Kenny, good to see you on here, brother. And then Hunter Combs says he's finally caught a Sports Talk Live. Hunter, we're glad that you've done that, brother. You guys hit the like and share button for us tonight. But James, in addition to our Sports Talk program that we've been able to do on the Killer Bee and some on here on Facebook, and then in addition to the volleyball games, our All-Star Weekend was it was something I had a note on. This year it was a 2-day event, and at one time on the first night it was standing room only over there. We packed that place, and that's pretty fun, man.
Yeah, it's fun to be in.
I see our buddy Vance Hurley's on there, and of course, people like Vance make this thing fun for us, and we've been able to grow it because of people like Vance.
Yeah, Vance keeps asking me to take my shirt off during a sports talk show. I'm going to ask Vance to wear his Santa Claus elf outfit to the Morton Gomes complex one night for a district matchup coming up in January.
Well, and I finally got a picture with him, and as he calls him Hoover, Heavy Hoover, I believe is what he calls him.
Yeah.
I didn't take that picture for no reason. I've got some ideals. That picture may or may not appear on an edited program in here real soon. And then, James, back to some things we've done. Of course, last year we took some heat because we didn't cover the girls' basketball game. I'm going to let you read his comments from here on the rest of the night, James. But this year we went, yeah, that's what I meant. This year, though, the girls' basketball season, they can't say we didn't do any this year. We had the girls' preseason. We had the girls' regular season. We had the girls' postseason. We went to Perry County and done the girls' postseason tournament. We have had a ball covering the girls' basketball this year as well.
Yeah. It's a, me and you talk about it all the time. It was another way, and we've had some meetings that I guess it's starting underway. We've had a couple of grade school games now that we've done on Facebook and the radio, and and TVS cable, and we're hopefully can get to the point with TVS cable and Josh Cornett and David Adams and them to do maybe some of the grade school games on TVS cable. So, it'll be one of the few ways that people will be able to catch a grade school game, 3 or 4 different ways on the radio, Facebook, cable.
We're on YouTube tonight, James. Yeah,
YouTube, the mobile app. So it's a lot of ways that I don't know anybody else in the area can bring covering all these athletes on that many platforms at one time. When we went to did the Not Letcher game, we was on 4 different ways in that district matchup in the 53rd.
Somebody may or may not have made a fool out of himself over there at the end of that. But, James, that was a game I'll never forget. Man. It was at the buzzer. I've tried to do it again. I can't in the car coming home from Prestonsburg. I tried to do it again and I can't get it. It was just one of those in the moment things.
Yeah, you gotta get Candy and Misty, man. I laugh for 3 or 4 days every time I think. I'd go through the house and play it. If there was a way I could make that my ringtone when you call me, I would, but I can't figure out how to do it.
As many times as I call, that might be the one way I'd make Misty mad at me. Kennedy at the wedding the other night says, Jamie Hughes, he plays that so much, that's all I hear.
Yeah. Yeah, she said she told you that game's got 1,000 views for me just going back listening to it.
Yeah.
That was an exciting game. Jaden Huff hitting the buzzer beater. That was about I'm going to guess probably 4th buzzer beater you covered in the last year. Jaden Huff and Lacey Hall hit the buzzer beater in the Morton Combs last year to beat Prairie Central girls. Then the first year menus at Prairie Central and Letcher hit the buzzer beater to beat Owsley County in the 14th region championship game. And it seems like there's one more, but we've been blessed over the last couple of years to be part of some exciting ball games.
Yes, we have, brother, no doubt. And James, a lot of the teams are playing right now down in Tennessee. I've yet to figure out why everybody goes there, but they do. And some are having really good showings. The Knott County Central Patriot boys, they won again today, and they're in the finals. They play in the finals of that Winter Classic that they're in. As good as it has been for the boys, it's been equally as bad for Knott County's girls. It's been a tough time down there for them. They run into some buzzsaw teams down there, I think.
Well, they have, but I listened to Rick Hughes and them down the radio on my way home from work when the girls was playing. And, I didn't watch the game, wasn't there, but by listening to Rick call the game, I think maybe the officiating's been off a little bit for the girls. I don't know. I heard Face fouled out and Lacey fouled out and Kylie picked up a technical or two during. I don't know if the officiating has been in the favor of the Lady Patriots, and I don't want to blame the officiating because I'm not there. So,
right.
But it sounds like to me when there's a lopsided amount of fouls that's getting called, something's not right.
Especially to that point, to that magnitude.
Yeah.
But I will say this too: win or lose, the girls and the boys. Hazards down there, Purry's down there, a lot of Letchers down there. They're creating memories with each other, James, that they'll never forget, brother.
Well, they are, and it's a good time. When I was coaching softball, I got a chance to take a softball team to Tennessee, and me and Coach Moberly was just talking about it yesterday. Some of the things and the memories that we had down there, and laughed about it. So yeah, you're right. They're creating memories, and the good thing is for all of them, it looks like they're all showing good representation of mountain basketball.
And some of them didn't know where Knott County was perhaps before, but they do now, especially in the boys. And we want the guys just to continue to do good for us down there and bring home the bacon, as they like to say. Have big performances down there.
Yeah, there's mountain teams all over. I think Martin County is in Las Vegas. Prairie Central, Gus. I was watching part of the game a while ago with Gus. And Prairie Central Commodores are playing Winter Haven, Florida. And I think they was down 14 or something at halftime. But Gus said they was like a 75-point underdog against that team. So Prairie's having a good showing down there in their tournament.
We got to find Gus I'm going to find Gus a better phone, though. Or make him sit closer one, because my vision ain't good. I tried to watch the game he done the night before last, and he's too far away from me.
If you ever look when we're calling a ball game, Gus and the Mosleys, and Jason Sparkman and Dustin, they all like sitting up there in the top row. They don't like getting down there close. They sit up about as high as they can.
Well, and then they like to chat with each other during the games. I said it's kind of like a family reunion for them. They do so much talking.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. They're all having good. Hazard's having a good showing down there. They're 11-0 now. Coach Casey Huff, the boys are having a real good showing down there. The boys are playing real good basketball. So yeah, a lot of good basketball going on. Just imagine when they get back home, starting about January when things really start heating up.
And then, of course, that All A coming up here. That'll be here before we know it, and that's always a special time for us and for the local students around here.
Yeah, it's a good time.
And then, James, as I was looking through some more of my notes here, brother, another thing that we're happy about this year is getting to partner up with East Kentucky Junior Sports. We brought Todd Meadows on, and nobody does more middle school basketball games than Todd Meadows, and I think he will say that we've been as good for him as he's been for us. It's helped him a lot, give him a bigger platform to work off of, and he's went to work, brother.
He's went to work, but I've been blessed to get to know Todd now since our boys played Little League together. Was on the same team for years, and he's always been a class act and a class guy. And the things that he does well is he's passionate about the youth of Eastern Kentucky, and so everything he does, he's going to put them in a positive light, and he's going to cover everybody in the 15th and the 14th as much as evenly as possible, and he's going to get to know the student athletes in the 14th as much as he does in the 15th. And he's a super good guy, and he's one of those guys that you wish that you had 1,000 friends like, because that you'd have 1,000 good ones in your corner.
Well, and he's all about like you said, the students. He and I met just a few minutes this evening, and he said, "Look at this one post. He's starting to do previews of the grade school players." And one of them had 24,000 views, James. And he was pretty pumped about that. And he said, Hughes, I thought I'd do this to see if people would like it. He said, I got more than I can do. He had about 25 more to do. People have seen him. And so that's neat. He's having fun with that. And that's also helping those kids get exposure, man.
Well, it is. And that's what it's all about. It's not. It's not about exposing one school or the other. At the end of the day, one or two or three, four athletes from the boys and the girls from the 13th, 14th, 15th region can find a way out of here. And at some point down the road, if a college coach or somebody can say, "Hey, I heard of you because of these guys," then everything we do in between is just icing on the cake. That's what it's there for. And then a lot of kids at the end of their high school career, that's it. There's no more basketball, there's no more football, there's no more baseball, there's no more softball. And if they can look back in 20 years and watch a game that you've done and with their kids or their grandkids and say, "Hey, let me show you this game," or whatever, then to me it's all worth the time that we put into it.
Well, we're getting a lot of parents to thank us and to come up and say we appreciate what you're doing. But here's a prediction that I think I'm going to be right on. If you appreciate it now, wait 10, 12, 15 years from now when you get a chance to show these YouTube videos to your grandchildren. And I know a bunch of people have come up to us over the last year and said, "I'd give anything if they'd had something like this back when I played." And I think it's going to be a neat deal for everybody, brother.
Well, I do too. I tell you all the time, and I used to tell Harold and Drum all the time as well, as I can remember playing back in high school and grade school, and the only thing there was WKCB. And I would go home at midnight, because back then WKCB would replay the games at midnight, and we'd have school the next morning, but I would stay up till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning listening to the games, because that's the only way I could ever hear my name on the radio. But hear it on the radio was listening to Drum and Harold.
Well, and James, I'm not tooting our horn. I guess it's going to sound like it either way I put it. But during the YMT tournament, outside of YMT, we were hit. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on, but I'm happy to say that we're part of a sports team that's enjoying covering these kids to the point that, we're going to be there. We've proven our commitment, and in some capacity, we've been at just about all of them, brother.
Yeah, it's I don't want to say disappointed, but I was surprised like you that there wasn't more media at the WYMC. And I know that WYMC doesn't allow any live streaming and they don't allow any more TV coverage. And I get that. That's their tournament. It's their baby that they should get all the credit. But even at the end of the day, if you can't live stream, Randy Thompson vowed that he would cover as many games as we could get to. And, I tell everybody back during football season, WKCB has been there now for over 50 years in the sports of Knott County. And luckily now I'm going on my 4th year with WKCB. And Mr. Thompson has been good to me and allowed us to cover. And, the media, even though they can't live stream, which is where it seems like a lot of things are going, the kids get just as much exposure over the radio because 90% of the people at some point in the evenings during these ball games is driving somewhere.
Right. And I'm still anxious to see more coverage. And I know people don't believe it when I say that because they're going to assume, well, that's competition for you and James. No, it's not. When this becomes something where, I know I can speak for James, when this becomes competition for he and I, we're out. I'm not looking for competition. I'm not looking for a job. This is, the money we make so far, every dollar of it we put back into this. And I'm not complaining about it. That's just we have. And but with that said, James, there have been some games already this year that I tried to tune into and nobody was covering them. And so I said that to say this: all the sports guys got to step our game up and try to hit some more of these games that are not being covered, man. So there's been some big games, and there are huge games coming up in the month of January.
No, you're exactly right. I get tickled. Is a good friend of ours, Kenny Fugit, who did the PA and the scorekeeping for Knott County Central for years, texted me and you one night and showed us a picture of his game room, and he had 6 different games on TVs that he was watching through Facebook or YouTube or cable, and he was trying to go back and forth between all 6 of them to keep up with what was going on.
I do want to say, too, as James mentioned a moment ago, we have joined up with Hometown 24. That's going to allow he and I to do some more games. We'll help DA, David Adams, and Manus do some games. And we think that's going to show everybody, you'll see more this coming month why we chose to do that. You'll see, I think, a little more of James and I on there. Once, especially, the grade school season comes to an end. And on that note, James, those tournaments probably about 2 weeks away. I know Perry County is going to play theirs the week of the 15th, and I believe Knott County will be about the same time.
Yeah, so we try to cover both of those postseason tournaments. We got lucky, man, and it's another first for us this year. We went to Perry County and covered their girls' postseason tournament, and
on an invite. We didn't ask, could we go? Right.
Well, we was invited, but I was blown away by the number of people that bought on and said, hey, we want to be part of this because we've never had this before for the girls. We went over last year and did the boys for the first time, and the John C. Combs Arena was rocking in a grade school game. And, I learned a lot of people from the R.W. Combs and East Perry games that's now playing at Perry Central. And so, and vice versa for the girls now. We've seen some girls that we covered in their postseason that's on the bench for Coach McLawrence at Perry Central. So it's pretty neat to get over there and cover those games. And blessed, by Chairman Burrow, the school board over there that invites, make sure you're up to date with everything, and him and athletic director Dixon, who always makes sure we got what we want. Harold Bashir, always comes up now that he's over there, and we're just blessed by there. And then we go to Letcher County and cover some events. And Jim Bob McCauley's, always super gracious to us when we go to Letcher County. Him and Coach Keith Baker and Coach Taylor and everybody in Letcher County. So it's just pretty neat to get invited and get to follow the athletes, especially around Knott, Perry, Floyd, the ones where we live, and get a cover and get to sit at Walmart and out to eat and get to talk about what a game they had, man. That's what it's for.
Well, and I'm already having a lot of kids come up to me at these places that I didn't know from Adam. But now they know us because we've done their games, and they'll come up, how you doing? And aren't you the guy that called my game? And so that's pretty cool, man. And we're committed to doing more recaps, more pictures and stories. You'll see a lot more of that. I think you have seen a lot more of that this year, and you'll see even more of that this upcoming year. We've got some photographers that are going to help us post even more pictures and so forth. And any way we can, James, reach out to them, brother. We're going to.
Absolutely.
We've never been accused of being shy, and we've talked so much. We better get us another commercial break in here, okay?
Sounds good to me.
We'll be back after this. Turning 65 does not have to be as confusing or scary as it sounds. Call our friend Chad Robinson at 606-438-1380. Call Chad for all of your insurance needs. Are you getting ready to go to Tim Short Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Hazard and buy a new vehicle? Say hello to our friend Brian Gibson. Brian's a family guy who is proud to sponsor tonight's sporting event. Call him at 606-438-0554. He and his family want to wish you a Merry Christmas. He also wants to say thanks to all of his customers that have recently bought vehicles. Once again, that's Brian Gibson at Tim Short Chrysler Dodge Jeep. Nelson Frazier Funeral Home is proud to sponsor tonight's sporting event. Nelson Frazier has the highest quality American-made funeral products, cremation services, mausoleum, and memorial markers, all with a family budget in mind. With 3 chapels located in Hyman, Martin, and now in Prestonsburg, Nelson Frazier Funeral Home is local people serving local families.
Streets of glory.
Did you know that one of the top rural health clinics in the state is right in your back door? Primary Care Centers of Eastern Kentucky has been given the title of the largest rural health system in Kentucky. In addition, Primary Care is the 3rd largest rural health system in the nation and the 4th largest employer in Perry County. Call today to schedule an appointment at our Hazard, Hindman, Vico, or Hyden locations. Walk-ins are always welcome.
Take the short drive to satisfaction with the Tim Short Auto Group. Up to 5,000 vehicles to choose from. Shop online or in person.
Hey, I'm Tim Short. I'd just like to invite everybody out to one of our 27 locations, or check us out online at timshortautogroup.com.
Take the short drive to satisfaction and bring home your new vehicle.
And welcome back to Hometown Sports Corner's coverage of tonight's sports talk. And guys, again, our buddy James Sandlin and me on here. Not sure exactly. I got to get James's feed back out here just in a moment, and we'll send him another invite back to the room. Yeah, I think maybe perhaps it kicks us off after a little while there, James. But
I'm back.
You are back, brother. I can hear you, and we'll get you video brought up here too. And this new to us, but we are on here. And James, as we was getting ready, or as we went to break, I started looking back at some more of my notes here and so forth, and back to the top 10 that we've been doing here each week. Brother, this thing is took off too, and you and I. It started off as we began to get our notes together for the Hometown 24 14th Region preview, but now that we put the two teams, or the two regions, 14th and 15th together, we're getting a lot more exposure from this, and a lot more people are chiming in each week, I guess we should say.
Yeah, well, that top 10 is based on weekly play. A lot of people think, like, well, you don't have to say you're crazy because, and they may be the best team in the mountains, but if they go 0-3 this week, it's hard to keep them number 1. And so, it'll all shake out. Yes, that's
You don't see the comments, do
Yes,
you?
sir. No. Where I'm on this, I
Your-
can't see them. But I did
your-
go back. That's how I
your-
got kicked off. I went back and read Vance Hurley's comment.
Your buddy, one of your best friends, Rick Mobley, says Jamie Hughes, you know he's a state worker, so maybe he's a little slow with technology. That hat might have a little to do with it. What's he talking about? Me a little jealous above your hat or something?
Yeah.
There?
I don't know what he's talking about. I like my hat.
Is that his hat? I think
No,
he's
it's
accusing
mine.
you of. I think he's accusing you of having his hat. But anyhow,
Jamie, I'll tell you what, when softball season comes around, he can come up with 2 extra visors. Me and you can wear visors just as good as we can baseball hats.
I feel like that's a good idea, man, for us to get one of those visors. I believe we've done enough to get one.
Yeah.
Talk about softball, though, already a lot of improvements going on. I went up there. I took Mallory to a tennis practice last 3 weeks ago, and I can't believe the stuff they're doing up there, man.
Yeah, hats off once again, to Superintendent Hoover and Greg Conn and the Board of Education, Coach Mobley and Coach Hammonds and all the coaches up at softball that's doing that. And, obviously the new basketball floor, and they're doing renovations to the football field. And so it's just little improvements, but they've got big impacts on what the school board of Knott County is doing for all the schools in the county. They redid the middle school gym. The outside looks spectacular when you drive by now. It don't look like a concrete building. They've painted it, put a new roof on it. So hats off to the Board of Education. Almost that gym gets used from, golly, all the way from 4 years old. Cordia still plays home games in it. So, and then at night, when there's not people renting it out and playing basketball in there. So that gym's got a lot of rich history involved in it. And so
It's a great floor too, James. Yeah.
It is. So hats off to Justin Ambergy and the Board of Education for all the improvements they're doing there. They may be slow progressing, and I guess I'm the number one critic on some of this stuff on slow, but they are doing what needs to be done, and they're doing it the right way. So hats off. Sometimes I'm just a little bit impatient.
We all are, but we'll be able to look back, I think, this coming year and see some more improvements and some things going on. James, to our top 10, though. Let's touch on it. Perry County. I beg your pardon. Let me back up. Breathitt County's number 1. Perry's 2.
You're doing boys.
Boys. Yes. Breathitt, Perry, Hazard, Knott. Those 4 have been there in some order all season. And then McGuffin slipped into number 5. Floyd Central up to 6. Prestonsburg, Martin County, Letcher, and Jenkins. But I want to start right off the top. Man, when we put Breathitt in the preseason, you and I were one of the few people that done that. And I got tons of messages. You're just doing that because they won it last year. You shouldn't do that. Well, James, they've kind of made us look like we know a little something about it, man. Those Bobcats has been good down there.
The Coach Honeycutt, his first year at Helms, doing it the right way, which we knew he would from watching him at Knott County with the girls program, and Coach Honeycutt's doing it the right way. But I'll tell you what, he's got some players down there that probably last year, if they were playing anywhere else in the region, would have been on the floor. Breathitt was so packed with talent last year, it was hard for some of them to get on the floor. And me and you went and got to watch them at the Big League Classic at Memorial Gym in Hazard. And I told you, by that night, I called you on the phone. I said, Breathitt's a contender, man. And I think that any of those 4 teams can win the 14th region. I mean, that's and not to mention Letcher. Letcher's, we've watched them now 3 times. And I'm just as impressed by Coach Taylor's coaches as I was. They surprised me. I didn't think that they would be as good this year as they have been. And, he's got a nice little point guard. I thought it would be hard for him to replace Nigel. And the Hamilton kid has come in and played extremely well. Taj Higgins at Letcher, is coming in. He's playing that off guard. He's about as quick as they come. And he's a really good defender. Of course, Peyton Dixon, number 1 in the state rebounding. But I tell everybody, you watched him. We had him with Alice Lloyd last year. Cameron Haynes is a diaper dandy. To be a freshman, He plays in, he plays out, he handles the ball. He's going to be a special player in the next 3 or 4 years in the 14th region.
And I'm always going to cheer for that young man, of course. Got injured over there in our All-Star game last year, and his recovery, his comeback has been sensational, and we're happy for him. But James, there, Letcher, I think you touched on it too in the middle of the conversation there with their guard play. It's been a little better than what everybody thought it would be, and then they have the low post presence that they'll be there come tournament time, man. And then Hazard's undefeated, but I'm giving them all the credit in the world by saying that. Everso is probably the leading candidate for Player of the Year. But I still yet think that them and Purry is getting ready to play here in 2 weeks, and we'll see how good Hazard is when they take on the Commodores.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. And you're right, Cottle and Everso is a matchup nightmare for anybody. But at the same time, not finding ways to win the close games now. And that was a question mark for them. And Coach Casey Huff's got them playing 90-foot defense. Jaden Huff is just as good as we expected him to be. I expect, he's got to be in the conversation for 14th Region Player of the Year. Drake's coming on. Drake, I'll tell you himself, he started out in the slump, started slow. But I told him early on, we named him Player of the Game one game, and I told him in an interview, I said, you're doing all the little things that's making the Patriots successful. Keep doing those, and it'll happen. Well, here in the last 3 or 4 games, Drake has come out of his shell, and Drake is the Drake Sloan that we was expecting him to be. And I just expect him to keep getting better and better and better. Braxton Reed's another one. He is playing well beyond what I thought that he could, or not that he could, but he's playing like a man, if that makes sense. He's not playing like a 16 or 17-year-old. He's playing like a 20, 21-year-old underneath. He's getting there battling, boxing. And, of course, Chance Amberger, we talk about Chance. Chance is a blue collar. He's a lot like Drake. The things he do may not fill up a stat line, but he is diving after every loose ball. He defends well. He's a solid player on both ends of the court. And then I don't know if there's anybody in the region that is as quick as Hunter Haddock's about getting his shot off. Hunter's got a way of
how about the evening he had, James? 23 points. He was 6 of 10 from Trayville. I was kind of waiting for you to mention Hunter's name. Had himself somewhat of a game down there in Tennessee today, and I was very happy to see Hunter have that kind of performance. Had 23 points, but he hit 6 3-pointers, and that just goes to show you what James was saying there.
Yeah, well, Hunter, when we talked, and I even talked to him after the ballgame. I caught him and Kylie coming out of the gym together at Letcher. Hunter was kind of streaky, but if Hunter hadn't hit 4 3s, I think it was 4 3s in a row at Letcher, and even Jaden Huff said that took the pressure off him. And when Hunter got hot, he knew they was going to win the ballgame.
Yeah.
And Hunter come down, he hit 4 in a row, and I even told him after the ball game, I thought the Nets was going to catch on fire the way he was shooting it there in the second half.
He's just a vital part to the puzzle there, man. And again, now Coach Huff's got his starting 5 dialed in. He'll work on the depth a little bit, focus on the 6, 7, 8, 9 guys, and I think you'll see good things happening for Knott County. I'm still a big fan of Coach Hoskins, Trayton Woods over there, Ridge Beverly, Kaiser Sloan.
Yeah.
They'll make some noise over there as well, brother.
You hit the nail on the head. That's where I was going with it next. Is Coach Hoskins over there. Watch them playing the WYNT. Prairie Central may be the most physical team in the 14th region on the defensive end. Coach Hoskins, I think in one game he played like 14 different kids in the WYNT. He may have the deepest bench of anybody in the 14th region. He, like you said, you got the senior leadership of Kaiser, and I've said it since October. Kaiser is one of my favorite players because he plays with such a high IQ and he plays hard. Trayton Woods, he's a lot like Hunter Haddock. He's quick. a good scorer. He can score from about anywhere on the floor. Just a super good kid. Castle, Castle's a machine underneath. He's gonna sit there and battle with anybody. Ridge Beverly, Beverly runs a team and about as good as you can ask anybody to. The question that I had at the beginning of the season: how does he come back from his ankle injuries of last year? He's answered those questions. He's come back even better and quicker, and he's spent a lot of time in the gym working on his jump shot, and it's paying dividends for Prairie Central. And then the Nice kids come in, and he's playing that fifth row as an off guard with Drayton Woods, and Prairie's got a couple of, well, I say a couple. They've probably got the most freshmen of anybody in the 14th region, and so he's Coach Hoskins is going to be in the mix, and it's going to be a fun January and February. We'll get to watch all these teams play.
I think it will be too, James. And again, the rivalry games are still yet to be played, and we'll watch them. And then over in that 15th region, as we do every year, we pick them up after the first. We like to give them a week or two so we can kind of gauge what's over there, since we don't get to do as many games in person. But I'm as confused with the 15th region now as I was at the beginning of the season. Nobody was talking about McGoffin County, and now they might be one of the best teams over there. Floyd Central, they got those seniors, and we knew they were good. Prestonsburg, Martin County was favored. They've slid down a little bit. The record's not where it needs to be, but I still think the Cardinals can be there at the end, along with Pikeville, brother.
Yeah, I think Pike Central's playing really well right now. They beat a Bath or a Boyd County team the other night that was ranked in the state. So Pike Central's right there. It's an interesting 15th. They're a lot like the 14th. The only thing is, I think there's about 4 teams, maybe 5. Somebody gets hot in March. But now the 15th, that may be a 6 or 7 school region that's competing for it.
I think so, man, over there, and we'll watch that one unfold. And then, of course, equally as competitive in the girls, James. And let's look at our girls' top 10. Let's take a commercial break, and then let's come back and look at that girls right fast. Can we do that? You still got a few more minutes of time before you have to get to work?
Hey, buddy, I've got all night. I'm off till after Christmas.
Oh, well, I didn't know that. You should have told me that. It's until how long we'll be on here. No, I gotta go wrap some presents. But let me play another commercial or two.
I hope it's a new Barbie doll house you're putting together.
Son, don't ever. Well, you don't have to worry about that. Gee, yo. I'll be back after this commercial.
Take the short drive to satisfaction with the Tim Short Auto Group. Up to 5,000 vehicles to choose from. Shop online or in person.
Hey, I'm Tim Short. I'd just like to invite everybody out to one of our 27 locations, or check us out online at timshortautogroup.com.
Take the short drive to satisfaction and bring home your new vehicle.
The Heidemann ProMart Home Center has everything you need to winterize your home to save on those power bills when that cold winter weather arrives. When you walk through the doors at the Heidemann ProMart, you're greeted by an experienced, knowledgeable staff who knows you, knows what you need, and know where it's located in their store. You don't need your GPS to find your way around the Heidemann ProMart. They're large enough to have what you need, but not so big that they can't offer the service you expect. And Heidemann ProMart is your headquarters for those energy-efficient, world-famous Anderson windows. The Heidemann ProMart Home Center, Highway 160 Heidemann. Call 606-785-3151.
Feud Country Leather, 606-631-8504. Feud Country Leather is homemade right here in eastern Kentucky with the finest quality leather products for you and yours. If you're looking for a birthday gift, or maybe just some way of showing that special someone how much they mean to you, I recommend you call my buddy Steve at Feud Country Leathers. Check him out on Facebook for more. That's Feud Country Leather.
Put it up good! I'm 85, getting ready to go into year 2022-23, so my count runs at about 37 years. That's a long time. Here goes Knight! And a 3-1, yes! The fire still burns. I enjoy going out to the gym. I enjoy it as a kid. She called them up! Have mercy! I've got to a point now where I have seen kids play today. I saw their dads, in some cases even their grandfathers. So, you know, you kind of get used to them hollering at you, and I like that.
Have mercy. James Salmon, I could watch that promo 10 times a day and get goosebumps, my friend.
Josh and Devin did a good job with that, man. Hats off to Josh Cornett and David, man, two super good guys over at TBS Cable.
And we're looking forward to the Have Mercy Harold Mullins night to be held in Hazard, Kentucky. I think, James, that's coming on a Friday here in January, and you and I are going to be there for that. If they need us to work, we'll work. And if they don't need us to work, we'll buy each other popcorn and an ice cold Pepsi and enjoy the night. But either way, we're going to be there to remember our buddy Harold Mullins.
Absolutely. You know, Jesse Miller, you know, he says that Hazard is the most underrated team in the region. You know, they very well could. Before we dive into the girls' game, the only thing I want to see Hazard do is play a little tougher, you know, some opponents. I think they've got the potential. I really like Everso and Cottle, Tuck Johnson. He's got to watch them play at the BJ Beckley Classic as well. You know, they took care of business when they played Letcher County. I've said the whole time, you know, Cottle and Everso's a matchup. I just would like to see them play a couple of better opponents before I can start engaging their run.
Well, very shortly they'll get to, my friend. Again, they'll lace them up and play Knott County. They'll lace them up and play Breathitt, and they lace them up and play Purry. And I'm looking forward to it. And Jason, my buddy Sparky, says that's actually at Knott Central, the Harold Mullins Classic. So
it is. The Harold Classic. It is. And I think it's actually a doubleheader, boys and girls.
But it is against Hazard.
Yes.
I knew I had Hazard on my notes here. And so, but either way, it's going to be a big, big time, Jason. I'm glad you're tuning in. Sparky, are you in Tennessee having a caramel apple and some taffy? Or did you get to go down and watch them? I hope you got a chance to go down and watch Drake and the boys play down in Tennessee.
I do too.
But again, Sandlin, let's look at the girls' top 10 here right real fast.
I'm ready to talk about them, man. They've had a heck of a season.
Man, we've had, 4 of these, and it's been a different team each week. And this week, this Pikeville Lady Panthers are number 1. Johnson Central up to number 2. Leslie County at 3. Hazard at 4. Martin County at 5. Letcher Central at 6. Knott at 7. Purry at 8. Owsley and Prestonsburg. The Lady Black Cats get to be there. And so, again, James, that thing is subject to change a couple more times. Even though now that Pikeville's got to the top spot, I don't know that I can see anybody beating the Lady Panthers off the top spot. But from second on down, that thing will change each week, man.
Well, Johnson Central's got a chance. You know, Pikeville, I think, has probably got the number 1 girls player in the mountains with Trinity Rowe. You know, if you've not heard her name, you need to look her up. She's a player. Johnson Central's playing some good basketball. Leslie County with Eden Melton. You know, they're under a new coaching staff over there at Leslie County. So they're really playing well. I'm looking forward to seeing how they pan out in their January schedule. You know, when they start really diving into district play.
It's been strange, though, because everybody was saying Leslie and Owsley. And you and I, of course, your patented statement, it runs through the 53rd District. Anything changed your mind about that yet, James?
No. I will say this, that I've been highly impressed with Coach McAlawrence's team at Prairie Central.
And Hazard. I think it's a 6-team race. I believe there's now 6 teams in the girls, man. I do. I wouldn't want to play Hazard once again in the first round. I bet you Hazard beats somebody out in the first round once again, just like they did last year.
Well, the good thing is it's seeded now. So the matchups in January and February is really going to pan out in that district to see who's going to have to play. But you're right. Hazard, man, has got we got to watch him in the BJ Bigley Classic. I've watched him a time or two. Of course, Maddie Fronapple, she may be the best 8th grader in the mountains to go over at Hazard. Then you've got Autumn Ramey, who's a pure shooter over there, and a couple of other young athletes.
Bailey
got
girl.
The Cottle girl.
Cottle.
The Cottle girl that plays in the middle for Hazard. Me and you talked about it a long time. Coach Howard reminds me so much of Coach John Noble at Leslie County. He has bought into the Hazard mentality. Mm-hmm. He goes to all the middle school games. He goes to baseball games. He goes to softball games. He's put himself right in the middle of the city of Hazard for the Bulldog tradition. And Coach Howard's doing a great job over there. He's done a great job everywhere he's ever been, but I really like the way that he's building the program at Hazard. He's doing it the right way. He's probably like Casey Huff. I don't know how many hours he gets to sleep at night because he's so focused on building his program. But you're right, Hazard the sleeper that even though they're young, you better not overlook them because Hazard will send somebody packing.
And James, as we look through there again, man, somebody mentioned on here that Knott and Letcher both lost. Guys, this was done Monday. And so, several teams have lost since this, including even Pikeville. But this top 10 went out Monday, and we've had several teams go down there and take tough losses in Tennessee. We know that. This, again, usually the top 10 and our poll questions get posted Monday, Tuesday at the latest. We try to do those at the beginning of the week, James, and that's where that's at, brother.
Well, and then on your top 10, you got Martin County. That's probably the least team I know the most about in the top 10. Knott and Letcher, I think at the end of the day, they've got the experience, and I've said it now for 2 years, and I'll keep saying I think the 14th region goes through the 53rd. Kiara Couch has developed a spin move underneath, and I told Jim Bob McCall over there when we went and watched them, maybe the most improved move that I've seen this year. Her interior game, I think she's averaging over 20 points a ball game with Coach Baker. And Coach Baker said she just worked in the off season. Jalen Witt, just a phenomenal player. Paige Dameron, I can go on and on because I know Knott and Letcher so good. They match up so well against each other. On the flip side, you talk about Coach Huff and Knott County. I mean, Kylie Gayhart. She's probably one of the, if you got to list the most athletic girl in the 14th region, Kylie's got to be right there in the running. She's year after year put her team in the championship game in the 14th region. She's a competitor. Kaylee Gibson's come out to be like Chance Gayhart of the girls. Chance Sandberg of the girls. She's a blue-collar worker. She just gets after it. Faith Pollard's developed that 14, 15-foot jump shot and a baby hook that's about as good as you'll find in the mountains. Haley Combs, but will battle with a chainsaw inside. She's not intimidated by anybody. She'll go down and get after it. Of course, Reed and Drew Reed and Morgan Combs may be two of the best defensive duos in the 14th region. They flat get after you when they check into a ball game. Lacey Hall, she just keeps throwing daggers from 3-point line. I don't know if she's got a range. If she gets across half court, you better guard her. She's liable to make it.
I still think Lacey and Acacia will have a game too before long, James, in which they go off on somebody, and everybody will say, "Where's this been all season?" Let's see if I'm right on that, brother.
Well, no, I agree with you. Casey Bentley. I think she's going to be the X factor to see how far the Patriots make it in March.
Yeah.
If her game gets turned on in late February, about 2 weeks before postseason, Knox Central becomes dangerous.
Yep. They need somebody to help take some of the pressure off of Kylie. It's just it is what it is. There's got to be somebody else to put up 15 points when Faith and Kylie are not able to. They need a third person that's putting up double figures night in and night out for them.
Yeah, Kaylee Gibson's done a good job of that. She's been surprising. She's been doing that. Lacey Hall's been taking some of the pressure off of her by knocking down the threes. But you're right. They've got to find somebody that can handle that ball and take a little bit of pressure, or at least give her a break going into the late third, early fourth quarter, where she can get a little bit. And it ain't going to be long, because she ain't going to come out of the game long. She ain't going to let you sit. But it might be that minute and a half break that you can get her that'll make a difference.
And sometimes that's all it takes, just a little bit of a break, brother.
Oh, yeah. But Coach Huff, she's doing a good job. First year at the helm of the Patriots. She's always calm. I mean, I don't know if I've heard her yell yet, and I've done 3 or 4 of her ball games. She's just calm and as collective as any coach is going to be on the sideline. So, Owsley County, I think 5 for 5, may have 5 of the best shooters in the 14th region when you go 5 for 5. But, the only thing is, and you said it early on about Owsley County, is if they ain't hitting, what's the game plan?
Right. Live and die by it. And I said it in our preview show. I don't know you can win a 14th region crown that way. That's why, again, I'm not going to count Perry Central out. I'm not going to count Leslie out. I think they've got a mixture of both. Hazard's got so much good youth. But you and I saw a Letcher Central team, and yes, I know they lost a couple, 3 games. They went to Tennessee and probably wish they hadn't won. But Coach Baker's team will be better by playing better competition, I think.
Yeah, but look, I don't put a lot of faith in these out-of-state games at Christmas. Because kids stay up late. They eat a lot of junk food.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them's never been out of the Commonwealth. Some of them's never played in that environment. I like it for the memories. I like it for the competition. But as far as me judging a team by how they played out of state, it's a non-factor to me. Because if they go down there and go 0 for 3, they may have stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning, because most of the time there's 4 in a room. They're not going to bed at 10 o'clock. Now, let's just throw it out there. They're 14 to 18-year-olds, and they're not going to bed at 10 o'clock. They're not eating normal, and they're getting up early. So
you and me wouldn't have either. Let's just say that.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, absolutely.
I still don't. When I go on vacation, I don't check my sugar that week, because I know I'm going to eat what I want.
That's the week. Yeah, that's when we eat the Caesar salads,
orange juice,
drink water,
and oatmeal for breakfast. Yeah, no, I doubt it. I don't do that here, but sure.
When people talk about these out of state, when people talk about these out of state tournaments, so and so a lot, I don't even.
Yeah.
I hope they're all successful, but when it comes to who I think is going to win in March, how they play out of state don't even concern me.
No, but what does, James, is the games coming up on their schedule. And before we get off here and go wrap some more Christmas presents, let's talk about some games that me and you are looking forward to doing, brother. Again, Knott County Central and Letcher, round 2 for the girls will be January the 4th. Only this time it'll be at the Morton Combs Athletic Complex. And it's a doubleheader. Boys and girls both play that night. I'm a fan of it, by the way. Let me go on record and say I love the fact that we're doing some of these. But do we expect anything any different when those 2 teams meet up at the Morton Combs?
I never expect anything different. It's going to be a war. People said that sometimes that those double headers will hurt the attendance and all that. Well, it didn't hurt Letcher.
No,
that place was packed from the floor up, standing room only. Any time that Knott and Letcher gets together, it's going to be a battle.
4 media coverages, by the way. So anybody wants to tell me that it hurts when we're there, well, it didn't that night. There was 4 of us covering the games, and it was still packed to the rafters. So then, James, of Knott County and Perry Central, Lady Doors and Lady Patriots, middle part of January. That's going to be another classic, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, that's going to be a classic. They've split. You know, they've both won each. They've won each. 1-1. So, you know, you come out the first couple of times, it's like a boxing match. This time it's going to be built up. So I'm looking forward to it because the closer to March, the games start meaning a little bit more in January and February than they do in November, December.
I don't know who made Megan's schedule, but 3 nights later she plays Hazard. She still has Harlan County. She still has Pikeville. A pair of matchups with Jenkins that are district matchups. Goes to Ashland, or actually Ashland comes there. Wow, the Lady Patriots have a tough schedule. Still get ahead of them.
Yeah, they've got a uphill battle, but you know you don't get better by playing weaker teams.
No, I agree with that.
She's doing a gut check, and she's going to know exactly by the time postseason rolls around where she stands. And I like that in the schedule. She's going to know who can do what and when they can do it, who can handle the pressure and who can't. Come postseason, that's exactly what you want. And that's a philosophy that's been successful for Knott and Letcher both the last 7 or 8 years.
Then in Perry County, the Lady Doors, as we said, they play Knott County in the middle part of January. They'll play Leslie County at Leslie 4 nights later. So that'll be a tough back-to-back games for them. They go to Letcher January the 23rd. That might be another game that we want to try to check out, man, in person. Martin County and Perry will be a very good matchup on February the 3rd over at Buckhorn. They're going to play in that Scott Blank Classic. And so Perry got a good schedule ahead of them too, brother.
You say at Buckhorn, but that'll be played at Dilts. The old Dilts Combs Gymnasium is Buckhorn's home gym. So since the flood, they don't have a school or a gymnasium over at Buckhorn. So when we say Buckhorn, that's actually getting played at Dilts. At the old Dilts Combs High School on 15.
Yes, sir. There's my buddy Greg Creech tuning in. He says, Jamie, you don't want to miss the opening round of the All-A. It's at Wolfe County. And so there's an invitation. And they're so good to us down there. I wish we could get to go even more. Wolfe County and Breathitt, though, brother. That's an intriguing matchup. Wolfe County went to Breathitt and played them toe-to-toe last week. Come down to the wire. And for the All-A, that'll be neat down there, brother.
Yeah, Fletcham, he had another big night. Anytime it's like these rivalry games, I don't care if you're 0-30 when it's time to play these big district matchups and the gymnasiums get packed, and it means a little bit more than teams that should win by 15 or 16 points. All of a sudden, you're in a 2-point, 3-point ball game all the way through.
Well, and I took a little beef from some people because I had Wolfe in my top 10 in the preseason. I still stand by that. I still think when you have 2 guards, such as Fletcham and Creech, and then you got some other players that will get better, they're one of the teams that I talked about earlier tonight that will be there come tournament time. That team, I bet you anything you want to bet, gets better and better and better through the month of January, even right up into February.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think there's a few teams out there that very well, there's a Jet and another player at Jackson City that surprised me when I watched Jackson City. If you sleep and you come in and have an off night against Jackson City and Jet and I drew a blank on that other guy, but they come in and have big nights like you can be in for a dogfight with Jackson City.
And we're looking forward to, James, to getting to cover some of our first 15th region games on Hometown 24. My buddy Tommy McKenzie that went to Alice Lloyd, I covered him the whole time he was over there. He's got the Golden Eagles at 4-2. And in boys basketball, they got some nice matchups. They go to Floyd Central on January the 15th. That night's going to have a bunch of good games that I'd like to go to. The 18th, Paintsville goes to Johnson Central. That'll be a classic. Pikeville at Johnson Central on the 27th.
You keep talking about, you was talking about Tom McKenzie and Johnson Central. So, I've had to say that the girls run 53rd runs, or the girls 14th region runs to the 53rd.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to say it right now. If the young man stays healthy, Tom McKenzie's got a freshman over there by the name of Austin Sloan.
Yes, sir.
That by the time he's a senior, will be the 15th region player of the year, and we'll be watching him play on TV somewhere when he's in college.
And James,
the young man
let's
is
add
a
one more
flat
thing.
player.
He may get the 3,000 mark. He got a shot.
I fully expect it. He could very well get to 1,000 mark, past the 1,000 mark this year as a freshman.
Right, so there's
he's
no
averaging
reason.
nearly 30 points.
3,000 is possible for him, man.
He averaged, I think, almost 20 points a ball game last year as an 8th grader in high school.
Mm-hmm.
He's averaging nearly 30 points a ball game this year as a freshman. The young man, he's got I call it in the gym range.
Mm-hmm.
When he comes through the door, you better guard him because he can hit it from anywhere. And I've never seen him back down from anybody that's guarding him.
That is definitely 100% true, and they're going to pack that place night in and night out, and he's going to play under the bright lights. So tournament time won't be a big deal for them, and I feel like Tommy got a shot over there. I think Floyd Central has a shot over there, and I still yet think Pikeville. I know they've only played 4 games, which I haven't figured that out. They're 2-2, but I think Pikeville and Martin County are the 2 teams you got to beat to win that region over there.
Yeah, I'm going to put this comparison out there, Jamie, and you can tell me if I'm wrong in about 2 years. But Austin Sloan reminds me of a John Pelfrey. He can post you up at the 3. He's a 2. He doesn't really like to play the 1, but he can because he handles the ball so well. But he is a matchup nightmare as a 2 or 3 player because of his size and his ability.
He came to our All-Star game that we had, James, and if you remember, it was crazy how many threes in a row he hit over there. And he left with some of our hardware, and we hope we can get him back for our 3rd annual All-Star game coming up. Rick Mobley says that he thinks you and I are ignoring Vance and him. Why would we do that, James?
Who?
Your buddy, Rick Mobley. Mo says
never heard of
him. He says that me and you are ignoring him. I don't know, man.
Yeah, never heard of him. Don't know who he is.
If you hear a beeping noise, don't look back because it might be the bus they're throwing you under.
Yeah, I guarantee that I've already been running. I've already went under it, and it's already been in reverse for them 2 going at it. So.
But
if a man had friends like him, who needs enemies?
Rick's been on his good side because he knows it's just, about 3 days to the jolly old St. Nick swoops through down there in Emily.
Yeah, maybe.
I think what he's really doing is pouting. I bet he didn't get none of that smoked bologna that you put on Facebook.
No, he didn't. Listen, man, I don't know if you've ever had it, but that's like hillbilly candy. Smoked bologna is. You're not a bologna fan, I know.
Every state, but it looked good though.
One night I'm going to trick you, and I'm going to get you to eat some soup beans and bologna together.
No, you had me on the bologna. I'm ready to try it, but I ain't not be eating no soup beans for you or nobody else. If my mama can't get me to eat them, you sure ain't going to.
Yeah.
Hey, but before we go, man, again, James, we want to give away some stuff here. And so just as a way of saying thank you, everybody that shares tonight's show, we'll enter you and I'll go live and we'll give away a couple prizes for people that share the shows and those that leave comments. We'll do that. And brother, what has been this year, give me some of your favorite moments for what we've been able to do.
Oh, favorite moments. I've had a few this year.
In no particular order. So we won't, yeah.
Probably. Wow.
Okay, let me give you some of mine. What time you were still thinking?
Yeah.
We called a football game from a fire truck. I didn't think we'd ever do that. We called a football game from the top of a mountain like Billy Goats. I didn't think we'd ever do that. We called a football game from my Tahoe. I didn't think we'd ever do that. But check, and check. The buzzer beater at Letcher Central last week, or week before last, one of my favorite moments. Getting to call the girls and boys tournaments over in Perry County. Some of my favorite moments. We've had a bunch of good stuff this year, brother, and we're at 12,000 people now follow this page. We gained about 3,000 followers just since basketball season started. Yeah. We're not into the heat of the schedules, and it's been a lot of fun, brother. I appreciate you and everybody that makes this little show go, man.
Yeah. I guess if you got to put it, all those memories, watching you get off the fire truck is probably one of them. But no, it's, you don't want, there's no way to put a finger on it. It probably after the game, when these student athletes win a ball game and getting to sit with them, even if it's just for a couple of minutes, and getting to talk to them about their game, and it's probably one of the highlights of mine.
The interviews that we did with the boys at Not Central, those are classics, man. If you go back and watch them, and from the football field, those guys jogged to the mountain to do those interviews with us. That was pretty cool.
It was. Another cool thing, and it's a somber moment, I guess, was getting to go back and watch the interview that me and you did with Harold Muggs and David after Harold passed. And then getting the messages from Gage Cottle's mom and dad about the interviews that we did with them, because they can go back and watch those. Those are, I don't want to say good memories, but those are some of the reasons that we do what we do.
We just didn't think it would be this soon, though. Yeah, man, you're right.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're right. Lacey Hall hit the half-court shot to beat Perry Central girls last year. Jaden Huff, obviously, last week getting the buzzer beater at Letcher in a big district matchup.
Going to Emmeline.
Go ahead.
Going to Emmeline, and they had signs made of me and you, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We've had some neat moments this year already. Yeah.
Getting to call the first ever soccer game. There'll never be another first soccer game. Getting to call the last football game at the Bank of Hyman, Gene T. Watt Stadium at Knott Central is pretty cool. Getting to call the first game on the new Knott Central floor after the flood, it rebuilt. And that's some sombering moments as well. As me and you got Justin Elberg in, let me and you in there when it was just the plank. You could see all the way to the dirt floor, which hadn't been seen since the school was built.
The unveiling of BB King Court. We got to see that
Coach
2
BB
weeks
King
ago.
Court.
That was awesome.
Getting to watch Pikeville High School bring back another state championship.
Mm-hmm.
Going to Shelby Valley and getting to call Knott Central's football's playoff game was one of the coldest nights of my life. But it was neat getting to go call a playoff game for the Patriots. And then the packed house at Perry Central last year in the the boys grade school postseason tournament. That gym was crazy packed. So just a lot of good memories over the last 2 or 3 years that you and Randy Thompson have let me climb in the back of the truck and catch a ride to these ball games and get a help do. And the relationships with the coaches that's come about the last 2 or 3 years, and different media. Brandon Miller does a good job down in Breathitt County and Wolfe County and Owsley County. Super good people. Getting to meet the ones over at Mountaintop Sports in Pikeville. They do a super good job, and helpful with passing scores back and forth and talking about different events going on in the 15th region. So I guess
buddy,
if I had to pick out one thing, it's the people.
Yeah, I agree with
The
that.
people's what's made this job is so much fun, I guess, over the last couple of years.
And Vance is on here chatting up too about some of his moments, but we did get to have Vance make his debut during the All-Star game. He got on the microphone, and he wasn't as talky when he had the headset on as he is whenever we get him on the phone and so forth. But we look forward to having him help us broadcast a game or two. And James, but you hit it, you knocked it out of the park, man. It's the people that makes this what it is, and why we do it, why we enjoy it.
It's the people and the interview with the kids, and I tell somebody all the time, it's the best part about interviewing the kids. You never know what they're going to say, and so it's always fun to get to hear their answers, especially when you pop a question like I'm getting ready to do on you that they wasn't expecting it, and watch them draw that blank on their face. So here's my question to you, Jamie. We always come up with a random question of the night.
Yes, sir.
Are you ready for it?
No.
Out of all, it's a two-part question.
Yes,
and it doesn't have to be the same on both parts. Out of all the Christmas movies that's aired, what's your favorite? Is part one. Part two is who is your favorite Christmas character?
Part one for me, can I go with cartoons? Or has it got to be movies?
Yeah. No, you can go whatever you want. Movie, it don't matter. Cartoon, anything. I'll give you mine while you think about it.
Okay, yes.
My favorite Christmas movie, and Misty will tell you, is National Lampoon's Christmas. I love it. I love the Griswolds. I love Clark. I love Cousin Eddie. I love it all.
Mine's probably Home Alone.
My favorite Christmas character is Ernest Saves Christmas.
Air brakes. Air brakes.
Yes, Ernest. Yeah.
Air
That's
brakes.
my favorite character Christmas. Ernest is my favorite character Christmas, and National Lampoon is my favorite movie.
Well, no surprise, Vance would say the elf. I kind of could see him in that role.
But I could see that, yeah.
And then he says, Cousin Eddie is a Beaver Creek icon. Only Vance can say that and not make anybody mad.
Yeah. Yeah, well, true. So you got Home Alone.
Home Alone's my favorite. And I think you're pretty good. I don't know. I like Tim Allen and some of the Santa Claus stuff he does.
Yeah.
I think it shows a
solid pick.
Yeah. And
that's a solid pick.
All right, so now here's your two random questions. What was your favorite gift? What was your favorite gift that you got as a boy? And then what was the gift that Zach got that you wished you'd had got? Did that ever happen down in Sandland Land?
Well, not really. I guess where we was twins, I was always used to it. I mean, you know what I mean? Like we was so used to having to share toys that really never come into play. Now, my favorite gift was a Red Ryder BB gun. No, I'm kidding. Was probably a Sega. That was Nintendo and Sega coming. All my buddies had a Nintendo, and we got a Sega, so I could go to their house and play all the games that I wanted to play on Nintendo. But they couldn't play Sega unless they come to my house, because everybody else had Nintendos. But the only way you could play some of these games was they had to come to my house to play Sega. So probably my most favorite present that I got was a Sega.
For me,
probably a Ken Griffey Jr. Upper Deck rookie card.
Hey, that's pretty cool, dude. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I'll take that
now. 1989.
I'll take that now.
1989. Yeah. Yeah.
But my best gift came 5.5 years ago. Baby girl, December 28th. That was a Christmas I'll never forget. As we had to go back and forth to Lexington, it snowed. We had to open our presents in the hospital, but it was well worth it. And so, yeah, that. But as a child, though, I really, really, really liked the Atari when it first came out. Played a mini games of Pac-Man. I'm a little more into that stuff. But then probably my Nintendo. And then I still like my die-cast cars, my racing cars. But yeah. And then the last question. What's your favorite Christmas candy, brother?
Christmas candy.
Rick says you forgot them boom boxes.
Man, I did like a boombox. He's right.
For real?
That tells you how long we've been friends. He's
A
right. I
boombox?
like the boombox.
But
Yeah.
you're a country music fan. You don't play country music on a boombox, do you?
Oh yeah, back when CDs first come out, we went from V8 to CDs. Oh, sweet. Nah, you hear me? You could get. You didn't have to take a pencil and stick in a cassette player and rewind it on it. You could hit track 8, 9.
Did you play
See, a lot of
George?
people don't
Did
know
you
that
play
now.
George straight to Misty and say, "Do you love me?" Check yes or no.
Man, it was George Strait. I played Chicago, Garth Brooks, Alan Jackson, a little Creedence. Oh man, look, you're strolling down memory lane now, Rick. I forgot about the boombox. Rick, he was with me. I mean, he would know. Favorite candy would probably be my dad's peanut butter candy. I guess he makes some good peanut butter candy. I really like. Well, you can tell I probably don't turn down much. Buckeyes.
I think Buckeyes are mine. That, and then Fran makes homemade almond joys. That, and then don't sleep on this now. But I'd never had them until I married her. They take Ritz crackers, put peanut butter in them, and dip them in chocolate. I never had those until I met Fran.
I bet
But I'm
that'd
gonna
be
tell
good.
you, it's classic because you get salt, peanut butter, and chocolate all through.
It sounds it.
Yep.
Yeah, I like it.
But then James,
But I'd also like to be like all I want for Christmas is a tan. You know, I could take a trip to Florida for Christmas. I don't like getting cold anymore.
no, I'm like you. As older we get, the more appealing that sounds. But James,
I'll say that to say that. I would say that to say this though. If it's going to snow, I don't like it did this week. I don't want to ski it. Give me 2 foot. Let's enjoy it. When it melts, I'm done with it. Let's move on to spring.
so help me, I picked my baby girl up the other night. You messaged me and said, "What are you doing on the road?" Telling everybody else to stay off. I had to go get my kid. But so help me, in the back of the vehicle, in her car seat, she's praying to God. Not because of my driving, but she says, in her prayer, she says, "Thank you, God, for letting it snow." She said, "But did you forget that I wanted 5 inches?" And I'll never, as long as she and I live, let her live that down. She said, "I wanted 5 inches of snow." And so maybe she'll get that big snow before the year's out.
Man, I hope. I like a big snow. You know, it's even. But I just like it once. Once it comes, if it snows a 2 foot, snow. But once that big snow's gone, I'm done with it.
I wish it would. I hope we can fix hot dogs on Christmas. I don't like snow. But I do like this, though, James, before we leave, I want to remind everybody the true reason for the season. And again, Jesus' birthday. No better time for people to teach their kids about Jesus Christ and how much he loved us. And it's a good time. And I challenge people not to let this time pass them by without somewhere along the way teaching your kids that this is about Jesus' birthday and him being born in a manger. And just a special, special time for us, brother.
Oh man, you ain't kidding. It's a special time with a special meaning. You're right, you know. And this week, I'll tell this story, and then I'll get off here because I like hearing that Irish accent, and so I like getting on TikTok and watching a bunch of funny videos. Well, there's an Irish preacher, and he's talking about the 3 wooden crosses. And he says, you know, when Jesus died and was resurrected and went to heaven, one of the guys on the crosses went with him, and when we got to the gates, St. Peter looked at him and said, "What gives you the right to be here?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "Did you ever pray?" And he's like, "Nope." He goes through there and he says, "Well, did you pass the right passages?" And he's like, "Nope." He says, "Well, hang on a minute here. I got to go get the boss." And so the boss comes to the gate. And he says, "Sir," he said, "what gives you the right to be here?" And he says, "The man in the middle said I could come."
Wow.
And that's a pretty cool way to think of the season. The man in the middle died so we all could go with him.
And that's just perfectly said, brother. And again, I want you guys to have yourself a real good Christmas and rest a few days. January's coming, and we will get this thing started back, brother.
Oh, yeah. Fired up, ready to go, man. January 2nd, district, I think, not opens up the Cordia doubleheader. So, January gets here, we won't be but just a few short weeks away from crowning 14th, 15th region champs.
But from me and you to everybody, as Kenny Mosley is saying there, Merry Christmas from all of us at Hometown Sports.
Absolutely. As we always end it, until we meet around the corner.
Be
Stay
good
tuned.
sports,
Hometown
man.
Sports. Yes, sir.
Good night. God bless you.
Did you know that one of the top rural health clinics in the state is right in your back door? Primary Care Centers of Eastern Kentucky has been given the title of the largest rural health system in Kentucky. In addition, Primary Care is the third largest rural health system in the nation and the fourth largest employer in Perry County. Call today to schedule an appointment at our Hazard, Hindman, Vico, or Hyden locations. Walk-ins are always welcome.
Hey you, it's me, Marcello. Are you looking for a great place to eat lunch or a dinner? Now go right now to Hot Rods. They have delicious pizza, cheese sticks, spaghetti, wings, a salad bar, and more. You can eat in, carry out, or get a delivery from 4 great locations. Hindman, Hazard, Allen, and Betsy Lane. That's a Hot Rods. It's the best place this side of Italy. Mwah!
Knox County Judge Executive Jeff Dobson and the Knox County Fiscal Court is happy to sponsor this sporting event. Of course, Knox County is the elk capital of the East, and we invite you to our Fall Trail Ride, October the 5th, 6th, and 7th. A lot has changed over the years, but one thing always remains the same, and that's the beauty and quality of a Ford. Come see us at Tim Short Ford in Hazard, Kentucky. Ask for Jason Sparkman or Stuart Smith in the BDC department, and tell them Hometown Sports Corner sent you. Dr. Fran Hughes is a graduate of Alice Lloyd College and Pikeville's Osteopathic Medicine. Dr. Hughes has spent the last 12 years serving the people of Eastern Kentucky and was most recently promoted to an associate professor in her department with the University of Kentucky. She's now seeing patients at Quantum Healthcare in Hazard, Kentucky, the clinic where she began her profession. While walk-ins are welcome, you can also call the clinic to schedule an appointment with Dr. Fran Hughes. Of us at the WKCB sports team, we're sending you and your family lots of peace and joy this Christmas season. Merry Christmas, everyone. Sports Talk family, we want to say thank you for watching us and attending our sporting events this year. We wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas and a happy New Year. Merry Christmas from the Bank of Hyman. We wish you and your family a wonderful Christmas, and we pray that the joys of Jesus Christ fill your home and heart this holiday Christmas. You and your family this holiday season from Frontier Behavioral Health. Our prayers are that this Christmas is the best that you and your loved ones have had to share together. Praying you have a Merry Christmas filled with miracles and memorable moments that you'll cherish forever from all of us at Alice Lloyd College. Be thankful for all the blessings you have been gifted from God this year. Merry Christmas to you and your family from ARH. Merry Christmas from Hot Rods Pizza. We're wishing you safe travels and that you become closer to all of those that you treasure in your heart this Christmas season. Merry Christmas from Nelson Frazier Funeral Home. We remind you the angels brought good news that this season would happen because the birth